And you know I have Steppin with Marcus J live from the den of Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all to everybody who is listening to us. Special thank you to those folks who are listening to us on TuneIn. Of course, that is how you primarily listening to us. Thank you to those folks who checked into our website, legacyinternetradio.com. Thank you to those folks who have been checking for us. We have our brother Dave in LA, David Wren, on the show with us in the last segment. So much love to him and all the information that he shared with us. I appreciate his wisdom and his guidance, and so I encourage those folks who want to check him out on his show, Tando Radio Show, on Black Talk Radio Network from 6 to 8 Eastern, of course on Empowerment Radio Network from 1 to 4 as well on Blackonomics. So definitely make sure you support that, brother. Thank you to everybody who is listening to the replays of this right now on YouTube. Much love to you as well. We got Big Rube, we got SY, we got my man Mr. LP Steven Sykes here in the room with us right now. The show is now in the hands of my brother Big Rube. It's time for the round table. Big Rube, it's time for you to take it over, brother. What you got, man? Round table.
All right. Just for those people who've never listened to round table before, we have different topics that we may talk about. It can range from anything from crazy to real, and when it's all said and done, nobody in this room other than myself knows the topics. So I like real answers. So with that being said, if you're trying to get up on this, hit us on our Facebook or hit us up at 804-402-2893. Call in, give your opinion, and you know what? It's going to be all right. So first topic today, there's this new phenomenon going around. I really don't know if it's hit black people yet, but it definitely has taken over the white people. And, you know, it's called dad bod. And it's like, exactly, who? What? Dad bod. It's a new body. It's not really a new body type, you know, but it's that dude who, you know, might have been a good athlete back in school, kind of let himself go when he get older. You know, he ain't rocking a six-pack. He's probably rocking a small keg. You know, but apparently now that's in. You know, he ain't fat, but you know he got a little bit of stomach that he can get rid of. So, you know, as in the room, there are a couple of pictures running around of people who are quote unquote dad bods, which Leonardo DiCaprio, they say now, has a dad bod. And you know, going to be a big shout out to Michelle K for listening with us today.
What's up, Michelle?
Appreciate it. And really, you know, it's a dude who doesn't really go to the gym, but you know, he goes a little bit. He drinks a little bit on the weekends, eats some pizza, and you know, he's just like, what? The only thing that changes is his stomach, but I guess everything else looked like all American. So I'll start with Steven Sykes. You know, Steven, I mean, I don't know if I want to really call it out, but, you know, it's fair to say me and you are not exactly small. However, I don't think we fall in this dad bod category, you know. But, I mean, what do you think about it? I mean, how do you feel about it? I haven't seen any pictures of black people who have dad bods, but I guess they're out there. So, I mean, just by looking at some of the pictures, we've been talking about it. What do you think about it?
I find it somewhat interesting, considering I'm also a gentleman in the fashion and entertainment field a lot. I just think they kind of just focus it on the face sometimes a little bit more so, and just accept it. You know, just accept people. Stop trying to find new creative ways of trying to make it sound hip and things. Just accept and love people for who they are.
All right, Marcus J., what do you think? Do you consider yourself a dad bod?
Nah, man. Not at all.
Oh, okay. I mean, you rocking a six-pack?
Nah, not at all. I mean, I'm somewhere in the middle. I mean, I'm not. You know, those folks who know me, you know, some of you like to make jokes. I don't really care about y'all because y'all can't beat me. But you know, those of you who think you can, bring it. You know, like to make the jokes about Marcus J not being a big dude. It doesn't really matter. But to answer your question, I'm not a big dude, and so I ain't got a dad bod. Okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, you know, I wouldn't necessarily call myself the guy that's rocking the six pack. You know, maybe in my youth I rocked the six pack, but I'm certainly not sporting a 12 either. You know,
I mean, do you think it's?
ain't nobody kicking me out of bed.
Well, that's good.
You know
That's
what I'm
real
saying? I'm just saying.
I mean, you know, is it just? How do you feel like it's just do you feel like it's just a term that some people just need to make themselves feel better about
I
the
ain't
man
never
that
heard
they're
of this
with?
before in my life, and this is the first time I heard of it. So when you say, "How do you feel about it?" I feel disingenuous even answering the question. I think that it's a dumbass question. I think that it's one of those questions where, you know, we spend so much time worrying about what people look like. I mean, I think that everybody has issues with self-esteem. You know what I mean? You fat, I'm short. You know what I mean? You catch us on the wrong day and you say the wrong thing to us, we might be a little bit upset by you pointing it out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that we live in a mean-spirited society that allows for us to be commenting on man bods. I mean, like, really? Man bod? For real? Like, I don't give a damn about what a dude looks like. And I'm pretty sure that most dudes don't care what I look like. You know what I mean? And, you know, I mean, you know, the ladies, I mean, if they check in, I mean, Big Rube, you don't strike me as a guy that has a hard time finding a lady. You know what I'm saying? And so, I mean, somebody's going to check for you.
Only in the wintertime.
Okay, only in the wintertime. Somebody's going to check for you. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter what your bod looks like. If you healthy, you healthy. And the reality is, dudes like women, man. You know, I know this is about man bods, but, I mean, can we make it about women for just a second? Dudes like women. We don't care, but, I mean, yeah, a lot of brothers like a fat ass. Okay, we do.
Yeah.
I ain't even an ass guy. I'm a boob guy. It doesn't matter what big, how big, small, that kind of stuff is. I'm not checking for all of that.
Uh-huh.
And I'm guessing that ladies ain't checking for this too. Because when it comes down and the shirt comes off and they see the man boobs and all that kind of stuff, they ain't tripping off of that for real. I mean, so the man bod, I'm not moved.
Okay. And that's why we left the lady for last.
Maybe that's why. Maybe that's because I ain't got one.
It doesn't really affect
It doesn't really affect me, yeah.
But that's why. I mean, you've seen a couple of pictures running around of the dad bods and what. Do you think they're cute? No. I mean, are you a no fat kind of lady?
No, when I go no fat, it's probably in food. But this what is this? Dad bod. It's so stupid. It's so made up. You like them how you like them. Whether they got a little bit or a lot, it doesn't matter. I like a little bit. I like a lot. It all depends on the person. It, like Marcus said, all that this around here and all that other stuff. It doesn't matter. It's the person that really makes the difference, and that's where he just comes in. This right here is all made up, and honestly, I swear I felt like ripping it up.
All right, you can rip it up now. I'm done with it.
It's crap. It's made up stuff. It's popular for the white folks. Hey guys, you can have it.
Now, and that's a very good point. I did want to bring that up. In these pictures, we did not see any black people. Do you think this is something that black people will adapt?
We're not picking that up. Don't even ask. We're not picking that up. Mm-mm.
You sure? I'm just asking.
Yeah, we're not picking that up. No.
Steven?
There are a few. I thought you said something else, but I remember hearing vaguely a few people saying it, but I don't think
black people
in general. Yeah, but not in total.
Talking about other
mass.
black guys?
Yeah.
Interesting.
That's why Hakeem is very, very, very excited to hear your voice.
Hi, Hakeem. Hi, Hakeem. What's up, Hakeem? How are
just,
you?
Hey, look, I'm Cupid. I'm the dude that's half naked with the arrows.
Ooh, I see.
Yeah, well, you ain't see all of me, girl.
All right.
I'll
So
let you when the mics go off.
you gotta wait in line. So next topic. We talked about Mayweather a little bit earlier today, and I mean, I'm sorry, you Pacquiao fans. I mean, it is what it is. Well, Mayweather came out today and said, you know what? I'm done. You know, I'm done carrying all this hardware around me. I think I'm gonna give him up. You know, but when it comes out, he wants to give up. He wants to give up the belts to quote unquote give other people a chance. You know, but real talk, there's a fee apparently for keeping these belts. So he's looking at giving it up so he ain't got to pay it for his last fight. So with that being said, yes, I'm very serious. So with that being said, does it really matter if he gives up these belts before his last fight? I mean, in the I know Marcus J and I talked a little bit about his status as the greatest of all time or whatever, but when it's all said and done, Rocky Marciano retired the champion. Should Mayweather do the same or have the opportunity to do the same? That's why.
I gotta pause my bejeweled, y'all. I think if he can, then let him. I don't really care so much about him, but if he can, then why not?
Okay. Do you think it's petty that he is thinking of giving up just so he ain't got to pay the fee to keep him?
It's kind of funny that you have to pay.
Yeah, there's a small
to
fee.
Keep your title.
I mean, it's like I can't remember what they called it, but there's some small fee because he's a champion. He's got to pay a certain amount. I don't know what it is. I thought it was interesting when I read it too, because I didn't realize that was the truth.
I find it to be a silly reason to give it up.
I mean, he has money Mayweather. He's trying to keep all the money he can keep.
Well, he just got 180, right?
180 what?
Million.
180 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so you can pay the fee, Mayweather.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Now, before I go to Steven, he said the one belt he is not returning is the WBO welterweight title because they made a new belt for that and it's worth $1 million. He's like, I ain't giving that back. They can have the old WBO title. So Steven, hearing that, I mean, I know how much you love Mayweather.
Steven, wake up.
I know how much you love Mayweather, but are we being petty at this point as far as the belts go, or should he keep him so he can help his legacy?
If you're going to give up all your belts, if you give them all up or keep it, don't just be half-A about it. Second, he's a petty mother jerker.
Steven almost cussed.
I know, right?
I just can't.
He's serious about it.
I cannot stand.
I don't like him
I don't
either.
care for people. You have a right to earn your money, but don't throw it in people's face, especially in today's hard times and things like that.
I don't know about that.
He's just making it rain.
Yeah, that's true. But, make it rain on some more charities and do some other things if you like. And stop hitting women.
Hakeem says sanctioning fees.
The sanctions.
Sanctioning fees, okay. And then he's also saying for Marciano retired as champ, so it does matter.
Was it 15,000? 16? I remember something.
For what?
Sanction fees.
It's more than that. It's like $300. It's some crazy amount.
Oh, okay.
Because he's got like 5 titles.
Altogether. Okay.
Yeah, he's got like 5 titles.
The only reason why I came with that number, I remember hearing something about that ABC Wide World of
I
Sports
mean,
back in the day.
15,000 ain't jack. I'm pretty sure he could care less.
Yeah, it's probably way more. I remember in the 80s it was 15 or something like that.
So, I mean, so you say he's petty to get rid of him? Or you think you should keep him, or what do you think?
Pay the money. It's just the price of fame. Prices, it costs to be the boss at the top. I mean, the way to the crown. Shut up and pay the money and keep it rolling.
I guess they're his, so he can pretty much do what he wants. Doesn't really matter.
Okay. Marcus J.
I think we spend too much time spending other people's money. I mean, at the end of the day, who gives a shit what he does with his money?
Well, I'm not talking about the money at this point. I'm talking about should he give up the titles?
Well, you said...
Or you say should he wait?
Right. But you said giving up the titles, you have to pay a fee. Isn't that what you said?
If he keeps them.
Right. And so it's about money, right? Ultimately, I mean, come on, man. If it ends up being about money, all right, let me answer this 2 ways.
Yeah.
First way I'm going to answer it is you the champ, be the champ, keep your belts, you the champ. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And getting rid of the belts, I mean, that's just dumb. I can't even wrap my brain around why anybody would even think about something like that. That's the first thing. The first thing. The second thing is this is the same dude who allegedly, who knows how true it is, but if you listen to social media, which a lot of folks who listen to the show do, he just spent $10 million to bail Suge Knight out of jail. He got money.
Really? I didn't hear that.
Okay, well, look it up. It's out there. It's out there.
That's why
trust me, I don't want to make this discussion about that. I'm
That's
just saying
funny, though.
He's got $10 million to bail Suge out, then he got money. And so if we're talking about a couple thousand or a couple of million when he just made $180 million over a freaking belt, it's not even worth discussing. It's like, come on, man, for real? You the champ. I mean, we can say what we want about your prowess as a champ, your performance as a champ, how you look being the champ, running, not running. At the end of the day, your record is 48-0, and you're the freaking champ. And until you lose and someone takes those belts from you, then you're the champ. Walking away from them over money, I mean, I already am not a fan of this guy, and it's something that he would never do because I can't see it. His ego is too huge for even that to even be a discussion. The more I'm talking this through, the more I'm wondering, where the hell did this question come from? Really?
I like people's opinions about stuff. I thought
Is it just an opinion? Because sometimes I feel like you know something that you wait for everybody to give their opinion, and then you like, bombshell, this is what I didn't tell you.
No, not this time.
Not this time.
Not this time. Okay. However, the last talk about Mayweather, I do want to bring this up. 49 or 50. Does it really matter?
Yes, absolutely. 100% absolutely it matters.
If he doesn't go for 50,
what's the point?
Yeah.
What's the point? I mean,
he should have stayed at 48.
I mean, what's the point? Because we know that, again, I'm on record as saying that, you know, he's the best of this generation, but I cannot put him in the overall discussion of greatest of all time. Just because you are undefeated doesn't make you great. It just means that you are picking and choosing. I'm speaking to Floyd specifically.
Yeah.
You're picking and choosing the people that you fight. If I'm going to be the neighborhood bully and all I'm doing is fighting cats that's smaller than me and I ended up going 49-0 against them little punks, then that doesn't make me a big time guy. If I'm, 49-0 and I'm fighting guys that's bigger than me, like Ruben and Steven and Big Bro Joe and all that kind of stuff, it's a little bit more impressive. My point is you have to look at the big picture and not the record. You know what I'm saying? So even though Sugar Ray Leonard and Hearns and Hagler and them cats in his weight class have lost fights, it does not in any way make them less of a fighter than he is.
Okay.
And so that's kind of how that's
so
how
you just agreed with what I said earlier. You said you had to look at the bigger pictures of the numbers, what I just said earlier.
Okay, well, you're saying that like I disagree with you earlier though.
You did.
I mean, it depends on the whole the whole picture of what we're talking about. And I'm talking about what Ruben and I talked about earlier when we were talking about the whole picture of Floyd Mayweather as a fighter historically. As a fighter historically, I said, you weren't here yet, but I said that I can't look at him historically as a great fighter. In today's generation, you have to because there's no one else that you can compare him to. But historically, I don't think that he gets to be in a historical argument.
There's another thing you have to add is the quality of the fight game and the other fighters. I don't think there were that many. That's what
I just said. Yeah, you know what I mean? When you're looking at, the previous generation, when you were looking at in April of 1987 as a soon-to-be 13-year-old, I already knew that the greatest fight that I ever saw then and to this day was when Sugar Ray Leonard fought against Marvin Hagler, who never fought again because he was so frustrated by the elusiveness of Sugar Ray Leonard that he couldn't bring himself to fight again. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And these were two great fighters. These were champions. And Floyd ain't never, I shouldn't say has never. I mean, he's fought Sugar Shane, he's fought De La Hoya, but he fought them cats towards the end of his career. Mm-hmm. Sugar Ray and Hearns, they fought in their prime. Sugar Ray and Duran, they fought in their prime. Sugar Ray and Hagler, they fought in their prime. What great fighter did Floyd fight in their prime? Name one. One great fighter that Floyd fought in their prime.
Ortiz.
Okay.
He did. Ortiz was in his prime. I mean, people may call that knockout a sucker punch. I don't think so. You protect yourself at all times.
Ultimately, your question was 49 or 50. If we're looking at the historical aspect of Rocky Marciano having 49-0 and Floyd tying it and then walking away, that's a punk move to me. Because you tout yourself in this generation as being so great and all this kind of stuff, then why would you walk right up to the record, tie the record, and walk away? You got to go for 50. And if you don't go for 50, to me, even though you're not that great to me already, you take another step back if you don't go for 50. That's just me.
Well, look, to throw a different aspect, let me ask you this just as a curious question. What do you think about, and it's a different sport altogether, but Barry Sanders walked away just because he didn't want to, he could have easily went to another team.
Barry Sanders walked away because he played so many years behind a horrible-ass line, and he got sick of getting beat up.
Right, but he could have easily came back.
It's completely different.
I don't think that you can compare a team sport to an individual sport.
No, but
I'm
looking at the principle of it.
But that's just like Tom Brady saying, you know what, I have as many rings as Joe Montana, and I'm not going for another one. Yeah, that's a punk move.
Hakeem says that Sugar Ray and Hearns both ducked Aaron the Hawk Pryor, and Ortiz is nowhere near being a great fighter.
I'm just putting it out.
Macho
there. It was
Camacho.
a crime, but it is what it is. Both undefeated.
Okay. Roberto Duran, Macho Caracho.
All right. Question number 3. I have been, sorry, question number 3. I've been doing an experiment for about the last month. I get up in the morning before I go to work, take a shower, brush my teeth, put on some clothes, make myself look all spiffy.
Hakeem says that Barry lost the love of the game, so that's why he walked away.
Well, I mean, yeah, but he lost the love of the game because he was getting his ass beat every day.
I agree. I agree.
If he was winning, he would have played some more.
If he was playing for a team that was winning or playing for a team that provided an offensive line that allowed him to not get knocked around as great as he was, I think we would have seen a couple more years out of Barry.
Yeah, he said love for the game because he didn't want to dog on Detroit.
Yeah, you wouldn't have,
that's real.
But the truth of the matter is, if you play for the New York Knicks in 2015, you ain't going to have a whole lot of love for the game, no matter how great you are.
Except for Carmelo because he get a check.
Yeah, exactly.
So, like I said, I get up in the morning, put on some clothes, and I sit and watch television as I'm eating breakfast. And I turn to Fox News. Oh, God. Now, and it's an experiment.
I quit watching cartoons as a kid.
Yeah, you're so funny. But the question is, I sit there and I listen to them talk, and I sit there and I think, do they really believe this shit that's coming out of their mouth?
They do.
Or really, is it just another type of reality TV? And I'll start with you, Steven. What do you think? I mean, first of all, tell me how much Fox News you actually watch, because that really, to be perfectly honest with you, if you don't watch Fox News, you really can't answer the question. Because
I hear what you're saying, and you're absolutely correct, sir. And yes, I watch it for the pure comedy and just to see the different things. I laugh. I give it the Baltimore situation. I laugh. They show the same. Every time they showed it, they showed the same clip of the black man dancing in the street with a whole bunch of fire around him, yelling rap songs. And, I mean, just the sensationalism that they have on there all the time. The information is so incorrect. It's so spinned, and it's so much hate within their words. It just says, not just even towards African Americans, but just anything that does not stand against what they feel is a majority.
Well, my question is, do you think it's some sort of reality TV? Or you really believe they believe the stuff that come out of their mouth?
I've seen in there and things at one time before they really got bad. When Fox News first came on, I've interviewed for that position, and so I understand where they're coming from. And obviously, that's years than what it is now.
But do they believe what they say,
yes.
Or is it BS?
No, they really do believe in what they're saying. They do a personality fan test before you can go into work with them, a detailed personality test for some of the positions. And yes, if you don't, you can be an excellent journalist, but if you don't agree with their views and things of that nature and have such a radical aspect of it, they don't even like some Republicans who define themselves as Republicans, but they're willing to work with people. They don't even like them on their shows. They really do believe in it. I really do believe that they're a cult more so of anything, to be honest with you.
All right, Marcus J., what do you think? Well, first of all, tell us how much Fox News you watch.
Not very much. I mean, if I watch Fox News, it's usually Bill O'Reilly, because he's the only one on that station, in my opinion, who believes what he's saying.
That's credible.
That's credible in the
words that comes out of his mouth.
In the context of believing what he's saying.
Okay.
I think the rest of them, kind of say outlandish things and don't necessarily, believe them or
so a lot of sensationalism.
I think it's a lot of sensationalism. I think Bill O'Reilly is credible in the sense that I think that he is sincere in a lot of the things that he's saying. Mm-hmm. So just because you disagree with someone doesn't make them wrong.
Correct. Yeah.
And so, so I can watch Fox only if I'm watching him. I can't do Geraldo. I know where you came from. I know what you used to do. And to see you on there acting the way you act is embarrassing to me. Yeah. A lot of the, and I say this with no disrespect, but a lot of the ladies that's on there, they're laughable. Like Megyn Kelly and the Hasselbeck girl. Hasselbeck. I mean, they just embarrass themselves.
She's just a tool.
Let me finish. They just embarrass themselves. And so I can't watch them. I usually catch their little clips on YouTube, and then I laugh about them like I laugh at Modern Family. You know what I'm saying? And so I can't do Hannity. I can't do some of the other guys. So to use your rhetoric and say I watch the shows just to see what's going on. I can't do it because I'm already grumpy and cranky enough. I'm not going to add to that shit. I'm not going to go looking for some reason to be grumpy, Steven.
Well, but it's something that both we do ourselves, both of us, all the time. To give a fair argument towards our point, we have to see what they put out there to be able to dispute. Like, I already have a predisposed view of Fox, but before I try to go into any debate, I try to hear what that person has to say and understand where they're coming from.
I think, but to use that logic assumes that we spend the rest of the day watching MSNBC.
No,
I don't watch them either because I think they're just as bad. I can't do Politics Nation. I can't do Rachel Maddow, and I can't do them shows. You know what I mean?
Rachel
because
Maddow
I know. Yeah, she's genuine because you're sympathetic to her. Mm-hmm. If you were sympathetic to Fox News, then you would think that Rachel Maddow was a crazy person, and that's the trap that we fall in because we fall on partisan lines, and what we're sensitive to, we think is great, is smart. We co-sign it. Oh my God, these people are wonderful, but if they're not what we think. We're not what they're not what we're trained to think, then they're crazy people.
But I'm not sensitive to Bill O'Reilly, and I will watch him.
Okay, but see, the point I'm making is they're all freaking crazy to me. Almost went there. They're all freaking crazy to me. You know what I mean? We need a libertarian channel. Or we need an independent channel that Marcus J could watch regularly because, I know Al Sharpton as a civil rights leader and as a politician and, his talk show, while I'm not a huge fan of his as I used to be, I can listen to his talk show because it's not the same as his TV show. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So if you listen, you understand what I mean. It's hard for me to describe in the small amount of time that we have here in the segment, but they're different shows. And so, the whole news cycle and watching personalities, I ain't for that shit no more. I'm not for watching Keith Olbermann no more than I am for watching Glenn Beck. I'm just not for it no more because all they're doing is spewing the same rhetoric and nonsense from the left or the right. Blood, cuz, blue, red, blood, crip. I ain't for it. I don't want to hear that from nobody.
It depends on.
Give me news. If you ain't got news, then I don't care about your opinion because I got my own.
I'll give you an example. Rick Smits was a person. I'm sorry, Rick Smits before he got off on CNN and before that mess.
Who? Smits?
Rick.
You talking about the basketball player?
Rick Smits, the basketball player.
No, I'm sorry.
I'm just thinking of Rick Smits too.
I'm sorry, Rick Sanchez. I'm sorry. And things like that.
I don't know.
No idea who that is.
I don't know these people from that. But
I have no idea who Rick Sanchez is.
He was a very good person. I love Anderson Cooper. I personally
like
met
Anderson
and know Soledad and things of that nature. I do believe they're Soledad O'Brien.
Okay.
I mean, if you know her, then we need to get her on Legacy on radio.
I've been trying, but she's been so doggone busy with
she don't work for nobody now but herself. We need to get her on here on Legacy on radio.
But she's hard.
I like Anderson, and I can tolerate Bill in spite of him being far right. I don't agree with him.
What about Janine Perro?
But I also think
who? Janine Perro.
Janine Perro.
Judge Janine Perro.
You might need to be off for 30 seconds for that one.
I'm just asking. I'm just throwing it out there. That's why. What's your opinion on this? Do you watch Fox News?
No, and can you correct me if I'm wrong? Is Fox News the channel where they can't even read the props right?
Well, everybody can.
Yeah, that's all of them.
No, they can't get their sentences out. They mispronounce words. I don't watch the news.
I mean, Fox News has got a big old Fox News channel on the bottom left.
Well, I'm sure.
I mean, you can't miss
like
it.
NBC News would have theirs.
Yeah,
I'm sure about that.
But you're probably right.
They
have more issues probably than most.
I don't watch the news. And
okay.
It's funny because when you ask, is it maybe like a reality show? That's exactly the way I look at the news. So I don't watch the news.
All news?
All news. I don't watch.
I think they do. She do have a point, a very big point. I think they try to cater because we're such a quick hitter nation, things of that nature. Remember, it was a big argument, let's say mid-90s when they started doing the bar at the bottom of information and things like that. And then until everybody got used to it. It depends. Now, if you think about it, other than the entertainment, the whole world was kind of stoic. you might say is a better word. But then you look at the news back then in the 70s and 80s towards certain fans, it was very stoic in wartime. So they kind of
I haven't watched the news
be
since
more
Ernie
appeal.
Anastas.
Hakeem Ernie and Astis. You just took me back to New York. Took me to New York. Hakeem says he saw something on ESPN not too long ago, and some of the former teammates was saying that they really didn't like the game. He's talking about Barry. They said he didn't like to practice, and when he wasn't on the field, he was asleep on the bench with his helmet over his face. And they all said that he was not passionate about it. Hakeem, you're making the point that he was on a lousy team. So I'm going to disagree with you and say that it was about the love of the game, and I think that it was more about his surroundings, because at the end of the day, if you want to play football, if you want to play football, you're going to play football. If you want a great team, it makes it easier to want to play football. If you're on a lousy team, then it makes it easier for you to walk away. The one thing that I will say this in your favor is that Jim Brown retired the same age that Barry Sanders retired, and Jim Brown retired because the owner of the team told him, come home from making that movie. If you don't come home, you fired. And Jim Brown told him to kiss his ass. And he stayed in London and continued making the movie he was making with fine ass Raquel Welch, not because I think she's fine, but because Jim Brown thought she was fine.
Oh, okay.
Big Roo.
Cool. All right. And we're going to go to our next segment.
What was that? Dirty Dozen. It was a Dirty Dozen.
Okay.
She is fine.
She's not fine to me.